In this lesson, I want to show you how we can use ES6 object spread syntax to spread an object's properties to become component props. So right now in our map function, we are returning a taco card where we are explicitly writing the name and image props. So what I want to do for now is remove those props like so. And when we save, we're going to see the consequences on the right-hand side. Of course, everything is somewhat breaking. And that is, of course, because our taco card component expects a name prop and an image prop, and it's not getting it from the parent, so it has nothing to render. So here's what our new syntax is going to look like. And again, I want to show you all of these syntactical options because you may see them in various React code bases around the world as you explore them. So I'm not saying that one option is necessarily better than another. I just want you to see a bunch of alternatives that you may see as you explore other people's code. So what I'm going to do here is begin with my curly braces, because whenever we are spreading an object's properties out, that is a JavaScript operation. And so in order to evaluate any JavaScript expression in JSX, we of course need curly braces. And then as a reminder of what the syntax looks like, it's going to be 3 dots in a row, followed by the object whose properties we want to spread out. So in this case, I want to focus on the specific taco object that we are iterating over, which of course is given the name taco for each of our 3 iterations, okay? So in regular vanilla JavaScript, we might use the object spread syntax when, for example, we want to make a shallow copy of an object, because it's going to take all of the existing properties and simply provide them in a new object. Now, in the context of React, this syntax actually works in a very interesting manner, and that is all of the object's properties become props that are passed down. So for any given taco that we are iterating over, that object right here will have 3 properties: ID, name, and image. So what this syntax means is create 3 props, those 3 props being ID, name, and image, and pass it down into the taco card components. And of course, the value for those given props will be the corresponding values from the actual object that is being spread. So now we have 3 props flowing down into the taco card component. ID is a prop with a value of 1. The name prop has a value of Crunchy Taco Supreme, and the image prop has the Crunchy Taco Supreme value. And of course, to reiterate, that is only on the first iteration. The logic then repeats when we spread the second taco and the third taco on the 3rd iteration. So we are technically passing down an additional ID prop that we don't really need, but it doesn't necessarily cause any harm because we're not utilizing it anyway in the taco card child. It's just going to be an additional property that is available on the props object. But the advantage of this approach, some would argue, is that you don't need to write all of the props explicitly in line. If you know that the object's properties are good enough to serve as the props that are flowing into a component, then we can write a little bit less code by simply taking all of the object's properties and expanding them to be props. Now, obviously, if you have an object with 20 properties and you only want to reference 3 of them in order to pass down those values via 3 props into a child, and this is probably not the best idea because you're creating a lot of bloat. You're giving your taco card component, or any child component for that matter, a lot more data that it doesn't really need. You typically want to be pretty conservative and not give your child more than it needs in order to do its job. In this case, we are giving an ID prop that it technically doesn't need. But in this case, I argue it's not the worst thing either, and it does make our code a little bit more elegant. So once again, we provide the curly braces to do a JavaScript expression. Then we use 3 dots followed by an object to perform the spread syntax in ES6. And this allows us to take an object's properties and define equivalently named props and pass them down to the child. All right. That's all there is to cover in this lesson. So I will see you in the next one.